You're going about your day when a stranger approaches you. He looks harmless, maybe even in need of help. But is he? Bad guys don't attack right away. They trick you into lowering your guard first. Their weapon? Lies. Before you even realize it, they're too close. Maybe it's a scam, a setup, or worse. How do you know that that person isn't a real and credible threat to your personal safety? You see, bad guys need to get close to you. And one of the best ways to do that is with confidence tricks. Basically to lie into your personal space. If you can't spot deception, you're vulnerable. So here's 6 red flags that someone is lying to you. So keep watching. Number 1, they provide too much information. Ever met someone whose story just sounds off? They talk too much, add too many details, almost like they're trying too hard. Liars will often over-elaborate or even overcompensate their stories. They build more into it, and ironically, it makes it far easier to spot. The more detailed, the more unlikely the story could be true. If it doesn't make sense, it probably isn't right. You can test a story by asking questions. Check the details of the story. Ask questions sometime after they've made the point. What I like to do is to ask the same question in a different way. And if you get a different response, it's pretty much accurate that that person's lying to you. If they're telling the truth, giving the details of the story should come easy. Another method often used in interrogation is to ask people to repeat their story backwards. Because this takes a lot of cognitive effort. It takes a lot of thinking for the person to actually recount the story that they've constructed. Now, if it's a lie, it will be very difficult for them to put it all back together in reverse order. And unless it's a well-rehearsed story, you will catch them out easily. Number 2, they avoid questions. Ever ask someone a simple question and instead of answering it, they dodge, they change the subject, or they ask you something instead? And that's where they try to avoid your question. A liar will tend to avoid questions where they have to make up more details. If you ask a what, when, and where question, they'll often avoid that and hesitate. If someone's telling the truth, there's no reason for them to avoid. Another tactic is where they throw another question up to avoid your initial question. They try to distract you from the initial point that you're making. Now, the reason why they want to do that is because it leads into the next red flag: time. Number 3, liars try to buy time. Have you ever noticed someone taking too long to answer? Pausing, repeating your question. What liars need is time to think and construct their deception, or repeat their question back to you. Sometimes they'll act confused, or they'll ask for clarification just to delay their response. Now, there are physical telltale signs. In conversations, they may use lots of ums, ahs, and pauses. But for me, the biggest red flag has to be where someone asks a question back or tries to avoid the point by deflecting it. But what they're essentially doing is buying time to elaborate their story. You see, when people are telling the truth, they generally get to the answers as quickly as possible. So try to avoid questions where there's only a yes/no answer. You have to ask more elaborate questions of people. Now, questions open up a whole new area in itself. So be wary of hesitation and unnecessary delays. Number 4, they overcompensate. Eye contact. Think liars avoid eye contact? Think again. Some do the exact opposite. They stare too much. There's a myth that liars avoid eye contact, but skilled deceivers do the opposite. They hold eye contact too long to appear honest. Most people naturally look away briefly when thinking or recalling something. Now, once you're in the process of detecting a lie, you need to look for the physical signs that they're lying to you. Essentially, that's their body language. You see, when someone's lying to you, they'll maintain their eye contact for longer. They'll have much more control because naturally most people look away when they're lying. They can't look you in the eye. That's where the saying comes from. Someone that's overcompensating, ironically, they'll hold their eye contact for longer. But a liar, trying too hard to appear credible, is likely to stare without blinking, and this leads to holding unnatural eye contact. Number 5, they tend to be much more restrained with their body language. Have you ever noticed when someone seems too still, too controlled? It might be confidence, but then it might be deception. You see, people naturally move around and gestate with their hands when they're talking, when they're feeling comfortable and relaxed. But quite often when they're lying, they're more likely to be restrained with their hands. In other words, hiding their hands, keeping their arms still, not fidgeting so much. These are all signs of a really good liar. Watch for a lack of natural movement, especially when someone should be relaxed. Ever notice someone rubbing their face or covering their mouth while talking? It might be nerves, it might be deception. Now the last sign, number 6. This red flag is only ever going to be identifiable in a prolonged conversation. If someone's hiding their mouth or turning their face away, it's a possibility that they may be lying to you. Covering the mouth, rubbing the face, or turning slightly away are subconscious signs of deception, but one sign alone isn't enough. Now, when we're trying to understand people's behavior, we have to look at clusters of actions, not individual behaviors. So the fact that someone might cover their mouth or keep their hands still as a one-off behavior is not good enough to identify the person as lying to you, as being deceitful. But when you start to add all of the behaviors together as a cluster, then you start to see a bigger picture. It doesn't matter what someone says, but if their body doesn't back it up, there's a good chance that that person's lying to you. So what's the takeaway? It's always a good idea to ask questions. But it's the type of questions that you ask and the reactions to those questions that you're looking for. Remember, it's not what people say, but it's how they behave. But once you can identify irregular behavior, you'll be far better off in your self-defense capability. You see, people with bad intentions can use very sophisticated confidence tricks to get close to you. And once they can manipulate you into a position or a location or a situation in which they can control, it may be a risk to your personal safety. Understanding deceptive behavior has to be the first port of call of your self-defense. So take it seriously. Thanks for watching.